Hey YouTube, welcome back to the Car Journey. I'm Tom, and today's video is going to be talking about the FL5 Civic Type R, specifically for SCCA Autocross in B Street class, which is the lowest prep level. So if you're new to SCCA Autocross, there's about 7 or 8 stock classes that we call Street, and the Civic Type R in FL5 trim happens to be in B Street against stockish Supras and M2s and things like that. So let's just get into it. So you're thinking about setting up one of these cars. You're either a little bit new to the platform, new to SCCA Autocross or that sort of thing. So there's a few things we have to keep in mind where we have to stay within the rules, and the rules are very specific. So the first thing we'll cover is the wheels. So SCCA allows you to change the diameter by 1 inch and the offset by 7 millimeters. So you can do, since the stock wheel is 19 by 9.5 with an offset of 60, you can go down to an offset of 53 up to an offset of 67, and you can go to an 18 inch or a 20 inch. And what most have found is that one of the better choices is probably to do what I did, which is this 18 by 9.5 wheel. This is an Apex, I think it's an EC7 wheel. Its offset I think is 58, so it's within 2 millimeters of stock. I was gonna run 5 millimeter spacers with extended studs. I haven't found the need. The one thing that I'm doing that might be a little bit different, as you can tell, the lower tires are a little bit bigger. So I'm running 275s in the front, 245s in the rear. So 275, 35, 18, and 245, 40, 18 in the rear. That keeps the overall diameter roughly the same, so it won't mess with any electronics potentially. Ignore those tires, that's gonna be the next video. So you run those on this car. Of course, the 275s up front and the 245s in the back. Also tire pressures. You're going to be relatively low in the front. I'm still learning, so don't take this as the final answer, but I'm starting 28 PSI, and I've stayed around there. I'm going to try up to 34, I think, in the next event on the front. But in the rear, I don't think I'm going to change that because it's working so well. I am running 48 pounds of tire pressure in the rear. I was even up to 49. The sidewall on the Bridgestones that I'm running, these are the 71 RS, says 51 pounds, so I'm not in the danger zone or doing anything technically out of spec. The other thing I've done to the car is I've gone ahead and installed an RV6 rear sway bar. It has 3 settings. I am on the stiffest sway bar setting, which is the 1,350 pounds. That's 1,350 pounds. And I wish I had more. And so I've ordered a Carceps. I shot an email off to Brian Carwin. We talked about it. He convinced me that that's what I need to do. And we're gonna go with the bigger or the stiffer tubular spline sway bar he sells. And it's even on its second to lowest setting is at the same rate as this thing is on the stiffest. So I think I'm gonna be in the range that I wanna be in. We're running 0 toe in the back. You can't adjust camber on these cars in this trim. And in the front, we've got -2 degrees. I meant to pop the hood before I started, but basically all we're gonna do is show you how to do this real quick. If you have an alignment person that's familiar with the platform, no big deal. If you don't, I apologize for the camera being sideways. All right, if you're not immediately familiar with this chassis, some cars have what they call installation guide pins. So when they assemble the car, they want the alignment to be very consistent, so they'll use pins. And in this car, you can kind of make it out here where if your car is stock, you will see an aluminum colored pin coming out of here, or a steel colored pin. And what it does is it locates this. And you can see that mine is slightly offset, and that means I've added negative camber. Let me add a little light to the situation here. So you can kind of see that mine is indeed offset. And so what I did by removing that pin, you just kind of grab it with vice locks and you wiggle it back and forth more times than seems to make sense, then it pops out. You loosen those 3 bolts and the whole thing slides inboard, and then you just need to redo your toe because your toe will no longer be correct. That's all I did. You got -2 degrees on the front camber, and that's it. That's all the prep the car needed. I'm using stock brake pads. I have not changed anything else. I have tried R+ mode and I have tried the pedal dance. And so far, I am preferring the pedal dance. And the reason being is you can run in individual mode and set the shocks to sport, which for my local parking lots seems to be a lot better. With the R+ mode on the shocks, I get a lot of pogoing and porpoising, and it doesn't inspire confidence, and I'm pretty sure I'm losing grip when it's doing that. So So far, that's what I'm up to. All the other settings are basically in R plus or whatever the highest setting is, with the exception of the steering. I've been running it in sport. I feel like it loads up enough, but I can be quick on the steering wheel, so I've been using sport. If it's an old trick. If you have physically less leverage, you're not a built-upper person, or you just don't like having to put in so much effort, you can run the steering lighter. Yeah, you don't get as much feedback, but these aren't old hydraulic cars where that really was so significant. It's more important that you have leverage on the wheel to be relatively quick in faster slaloms and things like that, and not have to worry about that you can't physically overcome setting those things up. But yeah, that's about it. Pretty straightforward car. With the RV6 bar, the car is extremely easy to drive, even at the stiffest setting, with zero toe. My girlfriend was able to run this, having never autocrossed before. She was able to even push a little bit on her last couple runs of the second day of the event, and was successful in picking up a lot of time, and the car never did anything unexpected. We left the traction control on for her, so she didn't even run the pedal dance or anything else. She was just in individual mode, the same settings I use, except the traction control was fully on. And I didn't notice. I rode as her instructor for most of her runs and did not notice it intervening in anything she was doing. So this car is very approachable, very good for a novice or somebody that's just getting back into autocross. I am not a front wheel drive guy. I typically drive things that are kind of more powerful and rear wheel drive, but I liked the car so much that I bought one, and I just think it's amazing. It's everything I've looked for that my Model 3 Performance wasn't for a daily driver. It's engaging, it's interesting, it has character, and it's not the fastest thing in the world, but it sure is fun to drive every day. So yeah, I think of excuses to take it out. I like taking out the Supra, but it's 600 wheel horsepower, and even detuned to 530 like it is now for most of what I do with it, it still feels like a beast by comparison, that you need to plan out, accelerations and things. You can get in quite a lot of trouble pretty quickly. Next video will be about this car, doing some time attack, and hopefully we'll be talking about faster lap times and personal best based on some changes on the front. We changed some brake pads in the front, did some maintenance on the car, and we're changing to a 100 tread wear tire, which should be quite a bit quicker, the Goodyear Supercar 3Rs. Going to be some learning curve with that, because time attack format's kind of counterintuitive for these tires. The tires need heat, but it gets hot here. I mean, it was 100 degrees the other day. I think today's high is going to be 90, and it's already pretty hot here in my garage at 11 a.m. on a Sunday. So I think we're ready. And yeah, one last thing. Here's the stock sway bar for the Civic Type R. So when you hear those spring rates being 1,350 pounds, you can see why. It's very narrow and very inboard, and so it doesn't have a lot of leverage. So it has to have a lot of rate to affect any change at the actual wheel. And so that's why you're running such high spring rates in effect for a sway bar. That's all I got for you. Hopefully this was helpful. If you got any questions about SCCA Autocross or B Street or FL5 Type Rs, go ahead and comment down below. Give a like if you found this video helpful, and depending on how this video does, I might do more Type R content. I've tried doing other cars, and especially doing autocross, and it hasn't been very popular on this channel. And so I'm glad to leave it out and do less work because I'm lazy. I mostly was going to focus on the Supra's kind of lifespan with me. And but yeah, I like this car enough that if there's even a hint of interest, I will continue to pump out a little bit of content. But yeah. All right. Well, that's all I got for you. Thank you, everyone. And we'll see you in the next one. Bye.